We got a guy, Isaac Feldman, here who used to work with us. He works at the Sports Network. He fought last week and won.
Winner by knockout from Long Island, New York, Isaac Feldman.
Here's the problem with that. Now with the proliferation of MMA,
Yes.
you ain't got anybody.
You have no idea.
Because that dude Isaac, who's a great kid, you'd look at him and go, I'll probably have this guy. I can handle this guy.
He'd kill you in
Meanwhile,
30 seconds.
What?
Right.
Hi-ya! No, like, God damn, I had the wrong guy.
Welcome to the IkeTagon.
Yo, what's up? IkeTagon number 5, back in the mix, back online, reading the comments. Thank you guys for liking, following, tweeting, replying, favoriting, family, friends, followers. Thank you guys. You're growing the IkeTagon and the new Mind, Body, Soul podcast on iTunes. Just search IkeTagon on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Radio Public, Google Podcast. The Mind, Body, Soul podcast, presented by IkeTagon.com, is blowing up. Again, if you want to get any of my coverage, videos, podcasts, old content from CBS, you guys can go to IkeTagon.com, IkeTagon, IkeTagon. UFC fighters fight in a octagon, so IkeTagon. Again, haven't got sued yet, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to make this a quick video webisode, webinar, web episode, web show for you guys. I'm obviously not wearing the suit. I'm obviously not outside. The only suit I'm wearing this week is for my brother in arms, Milton, getting married. It's actually tuxedo, so the only person I'm getting spiffy for this week is Mr. Milton. Congratulations to you and your beautiful bride-to-be, Irene. Can't wait for it. I got some friends coming, so I'm basically in pajamas right now. I'm going to run through this episode. If you guys, again, want to hear a more detailed take, Mind, Body, Soul podcast. It's a long-form pick segment, but detailed. Why a certain fighter elevated on the fight of the night with his mind, with his body. Was it perfected? Did he reach the physical peak that he could? And his soul, did he give everything he had on fight night? I talk about that and a lot more on the Mind, Body, Soul podcast. Check it out. iTunes. Just iTunes or Google or YouTube it. IkeTagon. Mind, Body, Soul. Don't YouTube. This is for YouTube. Don't YouTube that one. That one's a more introvert, audio-only podcast. You'll love it. So, UFC 243 happened. I was right and wrong. Israel Adesanya is the new king of the UFC. Ally Quinta, Long Island's own. He didn't lose by a finish. He didn't lose by a submission or a knockout. But he needs to go back to the drawing board. Needs to rethink his game plan. He didn't throw any kicks. He didn't incorporate his wrestling that he used against Khabib, the best wrestler. He's the only one that's been able to get back to his feet, which is amazing. He didn't do any of that against Dan Hooker, the striking heavy New Zealander. It's sad because Al's super talented. Again, he's been in there with the elite of the elite in the lightweight division, but he needs to go back to the drawing board. Him, Matt Serra, Ray Longo, his whole wonderful team, Pete Sell, Chris Weidman, Aljamain Sterling, Merab Deshivali. They all need to figure out a new game plan for Al, and he needs to take some time off, figure it out. I really believed him when he said we were going to get the best version, but I'm sure he'll come back even strong. Somebody who's come back even stronger, 10 times, Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya. Amazing performance, amazing walkout. If you guys see this, he choreographed a whole walkout with a former dance team. Obviously, they're friends. He said he's known them for years, Jay and Jesse. Nobody knows the third guy. That's the Ringo Starr of the dance group. But he said he practiced this 4 or 5 times on the night of the weigh-in, went over it on the fight night. I don't like that because that could distract the fighter from the actual goal of being a fighter is winning fights, but this guy's balancing everything. He's hitting on all cylinders. Amazing job with the dance, with the walkout, with the performance. He countered Robert Whittaker's springing 1-2 action with a beautiful counter right hook and then a beautiful counter left hook to end the fight. Amazing performance for Israel Adesanya. His next fight is against Ricky Martin. Not the real Ricky Martin, the steroided up Ricky Martin. Paulo Barachinha Costa. That fight is going to be amazing. If anybody remembers Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort, this is the next generation version. A Russian heavy, not Russian, with the G at the end. A rushing, heavy striking, raw power guy in Paulo Costa against the long, lanky, technical, dynamic striker in Adesanya. Going to be an amazing match. Going to happen in 2020. But Israel's poking the big bear. Not Costa, not the UFC. John freaking Jones. Yes.
There's 3 more killers, 4 more killers. I have to up that middleweight first. And then I'll move up in weight. Then I'll jump up and this guy. Like, I can't wait. I planned everything, Ariel, from the jump. I've showed everyone, like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And I already said Raider Stadium, Las Vegas, 2021. And even he's contradicting himself. I think I'm all right here. I'm not going to move up to heavyweight, this and that. Or do I have to move up to heavyweight? I don't want to fight DC at heavyweight. Now DC is retiring. Okay, I might move up to heavyweight. And he's just contradicting himself. He's just trying to, take, my moment. You can't even fuck with me right now, dude. Look at me, Ariel. Who the is the new face of the UFC? You think John Jones can ever pull some shit like that? I saw him with that fucking bullshit at Nelly entrance when he did the electric slide or some shit. And then, nothing. Like, bro, this ain't the same. This ain't the same person, man. You can't fuck with me on anything. I told you, Ariel. He is jealous. He sees the freshman that's taking all the shine. He sees the guy that's the new dog in the yard. And they're intimidated. They're jealous, and they don't know how to act. So he's always been a fan. He's still a fan. I know he's a fan.
He's really poking John Jones, the greatest fighter of all time. Asterisk, kind of, because of steroids and other stuff. But John's paying attention, too. Israel's on his radar. And Israel's calling for this fight, not necessarily the next fight or in 3 fights, but in 2021, he wants to fight John Bones Jones. Amazing. John Jones versus Israel Adesanya would be the next biggest freaking fight. So, honorable mentions for UFC 243, Brad Riddell, who's a teammate of Dan Hooker, Israel Adesanya. Shoutouts to City Kickboxing in New Zealand. Brad Riddell got a 1-fight contract with the UFC. I'm sure it's going to be more than 1 fight. And he put on amazing performance against this guy Malarkey. Riddell wasn't having any Malarkey in there. He was throwing freaking bark trees. I'm trying to make a rhyme there. It's not working. Great job, Brad Riddell. Got the win. Sure got a win bonus. Fantastic. Can't wait to see what's next for him. Moving on to fight picks and a fight preview. UFC Fight Night 161, Tampa, Florida. Michelle Waterson, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Cannot wait for this fight. 2 strikers, 2 different types of strikers. Michelle Waterson is a karate style who will leap in and leap out. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is that heavy, old school, chop the tree Muay Thai style. I think celebrity and stardom has gotten to Joanna's head. Put your money on Michelle Waterson. It's going to be fantastic. Before that, the co-main event, Cub Swanson, aka the featherweight gatekeeper, is fighting Kron Gracie. Yes, a Gracie, that Gracie. He is the grandson of the creator of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's a lot of lineage, pressure, and tradition involved in this fight for Gracie. Yeah, you could say it's only his 2nd fight in the UFC. What's the big deal? No, Kron Gracie was 4-0 entering the UFC. 4-0, that's it. 4 professional fights. But took 2 years off. His last fight was in 2016. Then he fights in February 2019. He fights a top 15 opponent in the UFC. His first fight. Gets it done in the first round. Rear naked choke, proving that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is still elite in the UFC. Now what does he get? A top 6 opponent in Cub Swanson in the UFC. That's amazing. This guy's second fight is a top 6 fighter in the UFC's division, featherweight division. That's amazing. This guy's next fight could be a top 4, top 3. He could fight a Zabit, a Brian Ortega, an Alexander Volkanovski, a Jose Aldo. Kron, Ice Cream Kron, that's his nickname, is one of the strongest embodiments of a martial artist. And I'll explain that and more and preview this card in a lot more detail on the Mind, Body, Soul podcast. And I really want to focus on Kron because he really wants to walk the lifestyle of a martial artist. And I'll explain that more, but it's a big fight for him, big pressure fight. But I'm going with Kron on this. Again, sorry I'm rushing through this. You guys are not my priority. Milton, Angel, he is the priority for this week for me. And Milton, you deserve it. You're a great guy. Can't wait to be at this wedding ceremony. We're gonna stay sober. We're not gonna do anything stupid. It's gonna be a grand old time. Cannot wait for it. Moving down the card, Mackenzie Dern makes her return after having a child against Amanda Ribas. Mackenzie Dern is one of the UFC's favorite young stars. She's good looking. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. Unfortunately, when she announced that she was pregnant, this is the rumor, that she lost 20,000 followers. Shout outs to all the horny dudes. No, what's wrong with you guys? Go on to all your dirty XXX websites. Leave Mackenzie alone. Hope the baby's doing well. Hope the marriage or engagement's going well. I'm picking Mackenzie Dern in this to come back. She's got that mom strength now. Moving down the card. Long Island zone. Huntington zone. I swear he's not bougie. This kid is tough even though he's from Huntington. Matt Frivola is going against Luis Pena, a.k.a. Luis Pena. It's a battle of 2 top gyms, 2 top thinkers. Young guys on the rise. Pena's made the jump from featherweight to lightweight. He's looked good at featherweight. He looked decent at lightweight. Matt Frivola is a heavy-handed, hard-nosed, blue-collar, put on your hat, I'm going to slug it out with you type of guy. I got to go with Frivola. Long Island zone, Huntington zone. Shout out to my father and his wonderful girlfriend, Denise. She loves the podcast and is a big fan, always liking, commenting. I appreciate the support. But Matt Frivola on this. Down the card, Eric Anders, a fighter that I've talked to probably the most out of any UFC fighter. I've hung out with him outside of interviews. He's a great guy, former Alabama alum. He won a championship. A.J. McCarron was the quarterback back at Alabama, the Crimson Tide. Nick Saban, Mark Ingram was the running back. Now he's scoring fantasy points against me. But Eric Anders over Gerard Merchert. Go with Eric Anders. He's my boy. I pick with my heart, but I hang out with good people. I have a good circle. They're good fighters and good people. Down the card, Nico Price making another quick return. Just got knocked out by Jeff Neal. What are you doing, kid? Be smart about this. He's going against James Vick in his welterweight UFC debut. James Vick got knocked out by Dan Hooker, the previously mentioned Dan Hooker, but he's at least had some space. He's at least made some changes. He's moving up in weight like Darren Till after getting a big knockout. Maybe that helps the chin. Maybe that helps the cardio because he's not sucking down so much damn weight. So I'm going to go with James Vick in this. I think Nico Price is not respecting the game, and I'll probably dive into that on the Mind, Body, Soul podcast, but James Vick, Reinspan, Devin Clark. I'm going to go Devin Clark for a grinded out boring match. Max Griffin versus Alex Morano. Max Griffin by point strike and outpointing his guy. Deveson Figueiredo versus Tim Elliott. I'm going with Tim Elliott because it's the easier pronunciation name. No, I'm just kidding. Tim Elliott's a great guy. I like him. Super talented. Just needs to be focused. Down the card, Marlon Vera against Andre Ewell. This is a fantastic freaking fight on the prelims. Marlon Vera is a striker. Andre Ewell is a striker too. Both scrappy, both fast. Ewell's got the speed edge, but Vera has the experience edge. I'm going to go with Ewell just because I think he's on the rise. You can't stop his confidence. He trains really hard, and he always puts on a performance. I think this is a great spot for him to steal some headlines. He might get a performance bonus if he finishes Vera 2. My last pick, Marvin Vettori. Italy's own Marvin Vettori, like literally Italian, not from Long Island, who owns Tony's Pizza Shop. This guy is literally from Italia. I'm going with Marvin Vettori over Andrew Dirty Sanchez. That might be his nickname, it might be not. But Marvin Vettori, he's been in there with Israel Adesanya. He's been in there with top fighters. He looked great in his last fight. He's making a quick turnaround. That's the one thing I don't like. But he's a smart guy, trains with the smart camp. I'm going to go with Italy's own. I'm making you guys money you can't refuse. I'm mixing up Mexican and Italian now, but they're your picks. Waterson, Gracie, Dern, Frivola, Anders, Vick, Clark, Griffin, Ewell, Vittori. Hopefully I get these all right and I just burst into close to 50 wins. I'm doing well record-wise overall, but that week I had a tournament. 3-4 isn't a good look for me, so things got to get better. Now to the what the f*** moment of the week. All right, here we go. A quick play-by-play of this guy. This guy is going for the Neil Armstrong. One small step for man, one giant step for paramedics. What the f*** is this guy doing? The worst part about this is that he was probably drinking and liquid courage kicked in and he thought this was a good idea. Unfortunately, he was a buzzkill. He ruined the tailgate or whatever this was. Listen to the audio of this.
Stop. This guy goes, oh, you're going to jump?
You could literally hear him suck the energy out of the crowd as soon as he breaks his neck. You know, what a buzzkill. What a selfish guy to take away from the party. Now somebody's got to call an ambulance. They got a drunk call 911. You selfish son of a b****. He almost stuck the... What did he think was going to happen if you jump 25 feet off a ledge onto some 1-inch plywood? That's gonna break your fall and you're gonna feel so much better. Dude, this was a small chance of coming through. Did he think he was Usain Bolt? Did he think he was this guy? No, this guy is an actual professional. I guarantee he's sober. I guarantee he's went to one of those gymnastic gyms and practiced this. Neil Armstrong over here, you need to figure it out, you know, because your buzzkill Lightyear, that's the top of the head right there, and you ruined the party, and you probably ruined your neck and your back, and you're now a viral joke. So, what the f***, sir? Some movie, show, stand-up reviews this week, just 2 stand-ups. Dion Cole, Cold-Hearted, find this on Netflix. Just randomly popped up to the top of the queue. He's smart, he's funny, he's vicious, he's not afraid to say what he thinks. He puts some pressure on the audience, all smartly. Every single joke is methodical and smart and hysterical and has back into it. Has a great pace, great flow. This is one of the best stand-ups I've heard in a long while. This was better than the recent ones I've reviewed in Aziz Ansari, Bill Burr. Great job by Dion Cole. I literally watched this with my wife and said, does he have anything else? Like, can we watch anything? She goes, no, I think this is his first one. I want to find out more about this guy. I could do without the leather pants, the Kanye look, but other than that, it was a great job, great performance, great speed. Just funny. Like, it was pure funniness. Almost every joke, everybody who goes out and has a normal life, you can relate to. So great job. I'm giving this an A+. The first stand-up that I'm giving an A+. Great job, Dion. Looking at the next stand-up, Whitney Cummings. Can I Touch It? She's really smart. She's really famous. She's more famous than you think. She was the creator of Two Broke Girls on CBS. She did a show with Chris D'Elia on CBS, who probably got her the big bucks. Her last stand-up specials were with HBO, and now she finally broke that mold. She's on Netflix. She's probably getting paid $5 to $10 million, doing well. She's very smart, very confident, very strong, great delivery, a little goofy, a little too goofy for my touch, but she owns it. It was a great job by Whitney. I saw her last stand-up. It's goofy too. This is a little more goofy and a little more over the top, but just roll with it. It's fantastic. It was smart. I'm giving it a B+. When you see these back-to-back, Deon Cole, Whitney Cummings, you can see the disparity open up a lot more. I'd probably give Whitney Cummings an A- on a different day, but I saw these back-to-back. Deon Cole A+, Brittany Cummings, I don't even know her name now. Whitney Cummings B+, and the ending is very cool. It's very different. It makes you question a lot of things about the future, so that's a good thing by Whitney. B+. Good job. This week's positive message, I'm not doing the heavy lifting. My friend, my brother in arms, Milton, Angel, Miguel, Dominica, again, just kidding about the last couple names. He's getting married to the lovely, beautiful, good-hearted Irene. The positive message, make the jump. Don't be scared. But yeah, make the leap. Make everybody happy. Just make sure it's the right one, okay? Marriage is a calculated risk. It's a huge commitment. Obviously, I don't got to tell any of you divorcees that, but make sure it's the right one. Make sure you fight for what's yours in terms of respect and mutual loving. And again, if you go back to other positive messages, just be open with your relationship. Don't be sneaky. Be honest. Deon Cole speaks about honesty, but enjoy each other. Make life a long-form podcast. Talk about the stars. Yes, tough guys. You can talk about some sensitive stuff. I'm sure you do behind closed doors. That's the thing. I'm 100% this guy. Behind closed doors, I'm 100% this guy. I'm learning to be in touch with my sensitive side. I know a lot of tough guys. I know this. Behind closed doors, oh, baby. Yeah, baby. Did you see Whitney Cummings? I think she's an A+ performer. Yeah, and then in public, yo, you see that girl with those in ass? Hey, that's my girl. Yeah, we know the stereotype of that guy. That's okay. As long as you're showing her love or she's showing you love behind closed doors, that's all that matters. My wife is a little rough around the edges, but she's a sensitive little puppy doll. I promise you. I promise you that. So this week's positive message, take the leap. Don't be afraid. It's not a rock and a hard place, okay? If you think you're stuck like James Franco, 127 hours, marriage could feel like that, but it's 127 hours with a beer fridge, a ton of food, and video games. So it's if James Franco had all those amenities, that's what marriage is. Okay? I'm gonna cut this off. Till next time, like me, favorite me, tweet me, all that damn shit. Whatever you guys want to do. Download or subscribe to the Mind, Body, Soul podcast, a more intricate, detailed, introverted take of the IkeTagon, explains my picks and the theory behind the picks, what goes on from week to week. Yes, I'll be on the subway, I'll be on the bus, I'll be walking. I think about these fights 24/7. It's a bad cycle, but it's my cycle, okay? Till next time, I'll tell you guys how the wedding goes. Maybe there's a what the moment. There's definitely a couple of all moments from it, but I'll let you know how it goes. Till next time, I gotta go. I gotta get changed. Later.